Karen is, as I think everybody knows, our wonderful administrative assistant. And she has ushed, it's a verb I learned recently from Karen, for many years in Broadway, and has studied a lot about Broadway musicals. So Karen, I think when we set this up, we didn't realize, this is fortuitous, that the Curtain Up, Broadway's best opening numbers, is starting just as Broadway itself has opened up, which is really wonderful and exciting. So Karen, I'm going to turn it over to you. We welcome questions, comments. If you want to write just to me directly, please, and we'll get to things at the end. Okay, and we thank David, who has been working with her and will be showing some of the YouTube clips. Okay, thank you, Karen, all yours.
Okay, today we're going to talk about the best, and this is just my opinion, but really there have been a lot of Google polls that have taken place. What do people consider to be the best Broadway opening numbers? And a lot of them were my favorites. So those are the ones that I definitely included. I also used an article written by this woman, Holly Reed, and the title of the article was Another Show, Another Opening Number, which of course is a play on the opening number from Kiss Me Kate, which you will be seeing a clip of later. You can't talk about Broadway opening numbers and not include another opening, another show. And I have included it, indeed. And Holly Reed writes, there are some songs where the writing comes easy. Conflict numbers and comedic list songs are the quickest. Most writers know that they have to tackle certain structural must-haves, such as the I Want song and the 11 o'clock number. But there is one song in particular that for most tends to be the most elusive, and that's the opening numbers. And Stephen Schwartz, and you will get to hear one of his in just a little bit, Stephen Schwartz wrote, opening numbers tend to have to be rewritten many times as the overall show becomes clearer. Often the final version of the opening number is one of the last things written for a show. And one more quote, this is from Casey Nicola, the director. Every show has a different need for the opening, but what they all share in common is a responsibility to set the tone and handle the audience so that they know what they're in for. And sometimes the initial opening number doesn't work and has to be rewritten. And the first example we're going to see and hear illustrates that perfectly. We're going to hear a little bit in a second of the original opening number when the show was playing in New Haven before it came to Broadway. And this was the composer lyricist's first show for Broadway where he wrote both the music and the lyrics. And you'll see who it is immediately because you'll see the album cover. But there's nothing much visually that you're going to see, but I think it makes a great point. So the original opening number for this show, and you're going to know what it is very shortly, is Love Is in the Air. So we are going to hear a little bit of Love Is in the Air right now.
Love is in the air, quite clearly, people everywhere act queerly. Some are hasty, some are halting, some are simply somersaulting. Love is going around. Anyone exposed can catch it. Keep your window closed and latch it. Leave your house and lose your reason. This is the contagious season. Love is going around. La la la, la la.
That song was called Love Is in the Air, and George Abbott could hum it, and that's what we opened with in New Haven. And the show was a disaster. And we didn't know what was wrong with it. The book seemed to be funny, but the audience wasn't laughing. Nobody was having a good time. We got down in Washington, the show was still a disaster. We called in Jerry Robbins to help out. He took one look at the show and he said to me, Steve, Love Is in the Air is exactly the wrong number. It's a charming number. It misleads the audience. They don't know it's going to be a low comedy show. You've got to write a number that tells them that. I said, I wrote a number. called Forget War, which told them that. And George Abbott turned it down, I said grumpily. And Jerry said, then you've got to write another number that tells them what it's about that George Abbott will like. And so I wrote Comedy Tonight.
He gave away the spoiler, and he did indeed write Comedy Tonight, and that changed everything. And the show was a success, and we are going to get to hear right now the replacement number that Mr. Sondheim chose.
And now, the entire company.
Something peculiar, something for everybody. Comedy tonight. Something that's gaudy, something that's bawdy.
Something for everybody.
Comedy tonight.
Nothing that's grim.
Nothing that's Greek.
She plays Medea later this week.
Stunning surprises, cunning disguises. Hundreds of actors out of sight.
Pantaloons and tunics. Courtesans and eunuchs.
Funerals and chases.
Baritones and basses. Panderers, philanderers. Cupidity, timidity, mistakes, fakes, rhymes, mimes.
Tumblers, grumblers, fumblers, bumblers. No royal curse, no Trojan horse, and a happy ending, of course. Goodness and badness, man in his madness. This time it all turns out all right. Ready tomorrow.
Comedy. Comedy?
Comedy tonight.
1, 2, 3.
And that, of course, was Nathan Lane in one of the revivals, replacing the original Pseudolus, who, of course, was Zero Mostel. And the clip that you just saw actually was not used as the opening number in that clip. It was the finale, the curtain call, where everyone got to take, just 1 second, where everyone got to take his bow. But that changed the whole tenor of the show. The audience knew that they were in for low comedy, slapstick, burlesque, and then, as I said, the show was a success. All right, Holly Reed utilizes several different categories for the types of opening numbers. And the first one that she itemizes, which would seem to be just perfectly logical, is here's what's coming, which of course makes sense because it is the opening number. And I think that the classic example, and excuse me, one of my favorites, and I had mentioned Stephen Schwartz earlier, is the number from Pippin, the opening number from Pippin. And I'm going back and going to the original Pippin in 1972 with Ben Vereen and Bob Fosse's jazz hands and everything. So here is Magic to Do.
Join us, leave your tears to shower. Join us, come and waste an hour or two. To lead you, journey to a spot exciting, mystic and exotic. Journey through our anecdotic review. We've got magic to do, just for you. We've got miracle plays to play. We've got hearts to perform, hearts to warm, kings and things to take by storm as we go along our way.
Intrigue plots to bring disaster.
Humor handled by a master.
Romance, sex, resentment, pastorally.
Naughty illusion, fantasy to study. Battles, barbarous and bloody. So join us, sit where everybody can see. We got magic to do, just for you. We got miracle things to play. We got hearts to perform, hearts to warm, kings and things to take by storm as we go along our way. Thank you so very much for coming. We do hope you enjoyed yourselves this evening. We got magic to do, just for you. We got miracle things to play. We got hearts to perform, hearts to warm, kings and things to take by storm as we go along.
I love how he breaks the fourth wall and tells us to sit where everybody can see. And Magic to Do is exactly what Stephen Schwartz had intended, and to show what was going to happen in the rest of the show. The first major category, again, seems very obvious. It's Welcome to Our World. And here the opening number is going to set up the world that we are about to enter, whether it be exotic, futuristic, historical, fantastical, or anything else besides the ordinary here and now. Some musicals are based in the ordinary here and now, but none in the category that we are going to see right now. So where are we? Well, we're in Berlin, 1929, 1930, the waning days of the Weimar Republic, the Nazis coming to power. And an opening number that I think has a great name for an opening number, Willkommen. And we are going to see here, there are several choices, but I'm going to the original. We're going to see Joel Grey in the original role as the MC in Kander and Ebb's wonderful show. So here is Joel Grey.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Frères, étrangers, stranger. Glücklich zu sehen, je suis enchanté. Happy to see you, bleibe, reste, stay. Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Im Cabaret, en Cabaret de Cabaret.
This time around, as he completes Willkommen, he is no longer in Berlin. He is with a very, very different group of people. So here is Willkommen Part 2, or I guess it's Part 2, and we will get to see Joel again.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Fremder,
Étranger, stranger.
glücklich zu sehen.
Je suis enchantée.
Happy,
To see you.
bleibe, reste, stay. Willkommen, bienvenue,
Welcome.
im Cabaret,
From cabaret to cabaret.
Meine Damen und Herren,
Mesdames et messieurs. Ladies and gentlemen.
guten Abend,
Bonsoir. Good evening.
wie geht's?
Comment ça va? You feel good?
Ich bin euer Konferencier.
Je suis votre compère.
I am your host.
I am your guest.
Gotcha.
Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Im Cabaret, or Cabaret to Cabaret. Here life is beautiful. The customers are beautiful. Even the orchestra is beautiful. Have you ever seen such a beautiful orchestra? Well, maybe in a zoo. Even the dancers are beautiful. If your standards aren't too high. Willkommen, bienvenue, welcome. Im Cabaret, or Cabaret, Pisaken.
I wanted to have time for the other numbers. So you got to see a completely different group of people. And thank you to Joel and thank you to the Muppet people, well, the Muppets who were there. One of the categories for the musical that's being presented is the fantastical. And I think the next number is in that realm. And it's the opening number, or a portion of the opening number, from The Lion King. And the number, of course, is The Circle of Life, Elton John and Tim Rice's song. This is a very long opening number, as many of them are. So we are just going to see a snippet of it from a London production. So here is a portion of The Circle of Life. Well, you got to see all the fantastical costumes for that number. The next one, we are now in New Rochelle, 1904. And this is one of my favorites, and I used it in another class. It's Aaron's and Clarity's Ragtime. And you'll see the three groups of people who are inhabiting New Rochelle at the time. You have the affluent white people who are all dressed in white, just in case we didn't get it. And then we have the Black people led by Coalhouse Walker, Brian Stokes Mitchell, who come in. And the third group are the recently arrived immigrants from Northern and Eastern Europe. And this is so beautifully choreographed, the way the three groups are separate and yet they're intermingling. And the little boy in the beginning will set up the scene that I already set up for you, but he'll set it up for you again. So here's the opening number of Ragtime.
In 1902, Father built a house at the crest of the Broadview Avenue Hill in New Rochelle, New York. And it seemed for some years thereafter that all the family's days would be warm and fair.
The skies were blue and hazy, rarely a storm, barely a chill. La 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 la. The afternoons were lazy, everyone warm, everything still. La 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 la. And there was distant music, simple and somehow sublime, giving the nation a new syncopation. The people call it ragtime. The days were gently tinted, lavender pink, lemon and lime.
Ladies with parasols,
Fellows with tennis balls. There were gazebos and there were no Negroes. And everything was ragtime. Up in Harlem, people danced to a music that was theirs and no one else's. The sound of changing times, the music of a better day. Listen to that ragtime. Ladies with parasols, fellows with tennis balls. There were no Negroes and there were no immigrants. Gentle is America.
They came from Western and Eastern Europe by the thousands. No dream was too big. They would be the next J.P. Morgan, Evelyn Nesbit, or Henry Ford. It would be their century too. It was only 1906.
And there were 94 years to go. And there was music playing, catching a nation in its pride. Beggar and millionaire, everyone everywhere, moving to the ragtime.
So it was 1906, as they said, 94 years to go. Now we are going to be in Chicago. And if that doesn't give you a clue as to what show is coming up next, we are going to be in Chicago in the Jazz Age. And what better title for an opening number from Chicago than All That Jazz? And this is from this is just a clip, and this is from a recent Broadway production. And this Bill McKelly's name is Arma Faye Wright. And it's interesting because the choreography in this number is not really Bob Fosse's original choreography. When the show was revived, Anne Reinking reconstructed his choreography, but it's pretty Fosse-esque to me. So here is All That Jazz.
Come on, babe, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz, I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz, start the car. I know a whoopee spot where the gin is cold but the piano's hot. It's just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl and all that jazz.
Oh, you're gonna see her shiva, shimmy, shake.
And all that jazz.
Oh, she's gonna shimmy till her gutters break.
Oh, and all that jazz.
Oh, her wearing a Parker girdle. Oh, her mother's bloody curdle. If she hear her baby squeak for all that
jazz. Come on, why don't we paint the town? And all that jazz.
and all that jazz.
I'm gonna rouge my knees and roll my stockings down. And all that jazz.
And all that jazz.
Start the car, where the gin is cold but the piano's hot. Just a noisy hall where there's a nightly brawl. And all
The next musical number was really groundbreaking. The year was 1943, and Rodgers and Hammerstein's first show together as a team did not have a big chorus number opening the show with loud music, as had been typical for the era. Instead, they just had Aunt Eller churning butter and whatever the heck else she's doing, and Hugh Jackman with his permed hair so he could play Curly in the National Theatre production, which I was lucky enough to see in London, singing very quietly, Oh, What a Beautiful Morning. So here they are.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye. And it looks like it's climbing clear up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. Hey! All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. And tell her.
Nah, scared me to death.
Oh.
What you doing round here?
Well, I come a-singing to you. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy it don't miss a tree. And an old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling.
Yes, I'll clap for him also. Okay, here's the number that must be included in any retrospective of great opening numbers. It's Cole Porter's Another Opening, Another Show in Philly, Boston, or Baltimore. And of course, it's from Kiss Me Kate. And again, this is a very long number. I remember when with the recent revival, not so recent, but the most recent revival on Broadway, I think it ran something like 7 minutes. So this is a filmed version that played in London. They filmed the show, and you'll see some of the credits of the creative people and actors in the beginning of it. And again, I did cut it off after a bit, but you'll get it. So here is Another Opening, Another Show.
Another opening, another show.
In Philly, Boston, or Baltimore. A chance for stage folks to say hello.
Another opening of another show.
Great.
Another opening, another show in Philly, Boston, or Baltimore.
A chance for stage folks to say hello.
Another opening of another show. Another job that you hope at last will make your future forget your past. Another pain when the ulcers grow. Another opening of another show. 4 weeks you rehearse and rehearse. 3 weeks and it couldn't be worse. 1 week will it ever be right that out of the hat is like the first night.
Overture is about to start. You cross your fingers and hold your heart.
It's curtain time and away we go.
Another opening, another show. In Philly, Boston, or Baltimore.
A chance for stage folks to say hello.
Another opening of another show. Another job that you hope at last will make your future forget your past. Another day where the ulcers grow. Another opening of another show.
4 weeks you rehearse and rehearse.
3 weeks and it couldn't be worse.
1 week will it ever be right?
And out of the hat is that big first night.
Overture is about to start. You cross your fingers and hold your heart. It's curtain time and away we go. Another opening of another show.
And I was going to remind everybody that, of course, the music and lyrics were by Cole Porter, but you did see his name on the screen. The next category, and these categories are all kind of similar, but this one is entitled, in Holly Reid's article, This Is My Life. An ordinary person in the midst of extraordinary circumstances is a classic plot line. Establishing the status quo world also helps the audience relate to the averageness of the main character. Well, some of these characters we wouldn't exactly call average, but in their own milieu, they represent a regular person. And first we are going to go, and this opening number also was on everyone's list. It's also quite lengthy, so we'll be a part of it. And we are now in Anatevka. So immediately everyone knows, of course, that this is tradition from Fiddler on the Roof. This is an interesting clip. Apparently, Anthony Warlock, an Australian, played Tevye on Broadway and then went back to Australia and starred in a production there. So we will hear the portion of the song where every member of the family says, "This is my life," and what his function is. And we will also get to see the Fiddler on the Roof. So here is Tradition by Bach and Harnick.
A fiddler on the roof. Sounds crazy, no? But in our little village of Anatevka, you might say every one of us is a fiddler on the roof. trying to scratch out a pleasant, simple tune without breaking his neck. It isn't easy. You may ask, why do we stay up there if it's so dangerous? We stay because Anatevka is our home. And how do we keep our balance? That I can tell you in one word. Tradition!
Tradition, 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 tradition.
Because of our traditions, we've kept our balance for many, many years. Here in Anatevka, we have traditions for everything. How to eat, how to sleep, how to work, how to wear clothes. For instance, we always keep our heads covered and always wear a little prayer shawl. This shows our constant devotion to God. You may ask, how did this tradition start? I'll tell you. I don't know, but it's a tradition. Because of our traditions, everyone knows who he is and what God expects him to do.
Who day and night must scramble for a living, feed a wife and children, say his daily prayers, and who has the right, as master of the house, to have the final word at home? The Papa! The Papa! Tradition! The Papa! The Papa! Tradition!
Who must know the way to make a proper home, a quiet home, a kosher home? Who must raise a family and run the home, so Papa's free to read the holy book?
The Mama! The Mama! Tradition! The Mama! The Mama! Tradition!
At 3 I started Hebrew school, at 10 I learned a trade. I hear they picked a bride for me, I hope she's pretty.
The sons, tradition, the sons, tradition.
And who does Mama teach to mend and tend and fix, preparing me to marry whoever Papa picks?
The daughters, tradition, the daughters, tradition. Day and night must travel for a living, feed and children, say his daily prayers, and preach the right, as master of the house, to the right family at home. The Papa! Tradition! The tradition!
Okay, this is my life. Who am I? I am a chorus person. I'm trying to be politically correct, or a gypsy, and I'm trying out for a show, and everyone's guessed what this one is going to be. Very good. So I found a terrific clip from a theater company I had never heard of. It's the Fifth Avenue Theater in Seattle, Washington. And this, I think, was used as a TV commercial or a B-roll for them. I think it was used as a commercial because you'll see some upcoming dates, I think, at the end. And again, it's just a clip of the chorus people singing, Ed Kleban, Marvin Hamlish, Michael Bennett. I hope I get it.
Let's do the whole combination, facing away from the mirror from the top. A 5, 6, 7, 8. I call out your number, I'll tell you where you're going to be in the formation.
Oh God, I don't remember my number.
Right, when I find a number without a person, it's you. Okay, girls first. Number 2, downstage. Number 9, upstage. Number 10, downstage. And number 23, upstage. 23. Judy Turner.
23!
Okay, girls, stage left. Next group. Number 37, downstage. Number 60, upstage.
God, I hope I get it. I hope I get it. How many people does he need? How many people does he need? I hope I get it. How many boys, how many girls? Look at all the people. At all the people. How many people does he need? How many boys, how many girls? How many people does he?
I really need this job. Please God, I need this job. I've got to get this job.
And of course, we're missing the iconic ending of that song where they're all lined up on the line, holding their headshots in front of them. Next, it's the Depression era. This is my life. I'm living in the Depression era. And I'm trying to figure out which horse I should bet on in the upcoming race. Is it Valentine, Epitaph, or Paul Revere? So, of course, it's Frank Lesser's Guys and Dolls opening number, Fugue for Tin Horns.
I got the horse right here, the name is Paul Revere, and here's a guy that says if the weather's clear, can do. This guy says the horse can do. If he says the horse can do.
I'm picking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured at 5 to 9.
But make it Epitaph, he wins it by a half, according to this here in the Telegraph. For Paul Revere I'll fight, I hear his foot's all right. Of course it all depends if it's red last night.
I know it's Valentine, the morning works look fine. You know the jockey's brother's a friend of mine.
And just a minute, boys, I got the feedbox noise. It says the great-grandfather was equipoised. I tell you, Paul Revere, now this is no bum steer. It's from a handicapper that's real sincere.
I'm picking Valentine, cause on the morning line, the guy's got him figured at 5 to 9.
So make it Epitaph, he wins it by a half, according to this here in the Telegraph. Epitaph, Paul Revere, I got the horse right here.
Well, if that was the Depression era, the next number is really depressing. Even the word gruel is a depressing word. So this, of course, is the opening number from Oliver, Lionel Bart's musical. And this is from the film version. And we will see Oliver and the other orphans in this Dickensian orphanage. And they are singing Food, Glorious Food.
Is it worth the waiting for? If we live till 84, all we ever get is gruel. Every day we say a prayer. Will they change the bill of fare? Still we get the same old gruel. There's not a crust, not a crumb. Can we find? Can we beg? Can we borrow or cash? But there's nothing to stop us from getting a thrill when we
Okay, This Is My Life. Not This Is Your Life, Ralph Edwards, and some of you may remember that TV show. But This Is My Life, and this is, we're going to see a group of traveling salesmen getting on a train, heading for Iowa, as they say. I never knew what the name of the opening number of The Music Man was, but it's Rock Island. And here they are all talking about the protagonists, Professor Harold Hill, whom we haven't met yet, but we will. And you get a picture of what he might be by the song that the salesmen are singing. So here is Rock Island from Meredith Willson's The Music Man.
Cash for the merchandise, cash for the button hooks,
cash for the cotton goods, cash for the hard goods,
cash for the fancy goods, cash for the soft goods,
cash for the noggins and the piggins and the frickin',
cash for the hogshead cask and demijohn, cash for the crackers and the pickles and the fly paper.
Look, what do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it?
What do you talk? You can talk, you can talk, you can bigger, you can talk, you can bigger, 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 you can talk, you can talk, you can talk, bigger, bigger, bigger. You can talk all you want, but it's different than it was.
No, it ain't, but you gotta know the territory.
Why, it's a Model T Ford. Made the trouble, made the people want to go, want to get up and go. 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 14, 22, 23 miles to the county seat.
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Who's gonna patronize a little bitty 2x4 kind of store anymore?
What do you talk? What do you talk?
Where do you get it? Gone.
Gone with the hogshead cask and demijohn. Gone with the sugar barrel, pickle barrel, milk pan. Gone with the tub and the pail and the tierce.
Ever meet a fella by the name of Hill?
Hill.
No! Just a minute.
Never heard of any salesman, Hill.
Now he doesn't know the territory.
Doesn't know the territory?
What's a fella's line?
Never worries about his line.
Never worries about his line.
Or a doggone thing. He's just a bang, beat, bell ringing, big hole, great go, neck or nothing, rip roaring every time a bullseye salesman. That's Professor Harold Hill.
What's a fella's line? What's his line?
He's a fake and he doesn't know the territory.
Look, what do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk? What do you talk?
He's a music man.
He's a what? He's
a music man, and he sells clarinets to the kids in the town with the big trombones and the rat-a-tat drums, big brass bass, and the piccolo with uniforms too, with a shiny gold braid on the coat and a big red stripe running.
Well, I don't know much about bands, but I do know you can't make a living selling big trombones. No, sir. Mandolin picks, perhaps, and here and there a Jew's harp.
No, the fella sells bands, boys' bands. I don't know how he does it. But he lives like a king, and he dallies, and he gathers, and he plucks, and he shines. And when a man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. When the man dances, certainly, boys, what else? The piper pays him.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. But he doesn't know the territory.
So cleverly staged, or film in this case. The last category is an interesting one. It's Meet the Characters. And I learned something from this article. She writes, with the exception of Sunday in the Park with George and Anyone Can Whistle, all of Sondheim's musicals immediately introduce the entire population of their respective worlds. And we did see that clip from A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, where everyone is on stage. And since Mr. Sondheim is my favorite composer, we will see clips from 3 more of his shows. The first is Sweeney Todd, and everyone or most people are on stage in the very beginning. And this is from, and it's just a brief clip, from the Welsh opera production of Sweeney Todd. And you will see Sweeney, and you'll see Mrs. Lovett, and you'll see several of the townspeople. And the opening number is the Ballad of Sweeney Todd. So here is a clip from that.
Attend the tale of Sweeney Todd. He served a dark and a vengeful God.
us the play, and he wouldn't want us to give it away. Not Sweeney, not Sweeney Todd, the demon barber of Fleet Street.
That obviously was a commercial, so we could all head to Cardiff or Liverpool and see the production, which I think has passed already. In Follies opens with the Follies ladies walking down a staircase before the theater where they had performed is about to be destroyed. And it's a reunion celebration, and each lady is wearing a sash that has her year on it. The clip that we are going to see, which is from a revival, the revival with Bernadette Peters, they've already walked down the staircase. So they're already down, but Roscoe, the tenor, is still singing, and we'll hear him sing a bit of Beautiful Girls.
Faced with these Loreleis, what man can moralize? Caution on your guard with beautiful girls, flawless charmers, everyone. This is how Samson was shorn. Each in her sorrow, Delilah reborn. Each of them a beautiful diadem, a beautiful welcome them. These beautiful
And as mentioned, everybody's on stage for the opening number. The third opening number of Mr. Sondheim's, this, I was so happy I found this. Company, which is not a revival, it's a revisal because Bobby is female now, was all set to open when it closed, but it is reopening in December. And Bobby is Katrina Lenk, and Patti LuPone will still be Elaine, just as she was in that clip that I showed for another class of the PBS New York Philharmonic production of Company with Neil Patrick Harris. I guess Patti owns that role now. No matter where if they're performing it in Liverpool, Patti will probably go over and play that same role. But so the cast got together during the quarantine and put this piece together as a commercial, I'm sure. So here is the new cast of Company.
Bobby, 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 baby, Bobby, Bobby,
Darling, boo-boo, sweetie.
Bobby, will you do us a favor?
Tell me, Sarah.
Bobby, love, I'd like your opinion. Bobby, girl,
Tiny Peter.
Bobby, there's a problem. Might be your
Jenny, can't you tell you Mr. Mario? Bobby, Jenny, I could take her to the zoo on Friday. Where have you been? Susan, love, I'll make it after 7 if I can. Sorry, Paul, I made a date with Mary and Joe. Bobby, dear, it's none of my business. Darling, you've been looking peculiar. Everything your day came up C-O-I-N-E. PJ, listen, people. Bobby, we've been worried. You sure you're on?
deep talks, long walks, telephone calls. Thoughts shared, souls bared, private names, all those photos up on the walls. With love, filling the days. With love, 70 ways to embody the love from all these good and crazy people, your friends. These good and crazy people, your merry friends. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? That's what it's really about, isn't it? That's what it's really about, really about. I love you, I love you, and you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Company, lots of company. Life is company, love is company.
So the whole cast is together on Zoom. The next number is from a very strange musical. It's from a musical that has an over 30-minute gap without any music, and which is, of course, highly unusual for a musical. And this musical and this opening number was mentioned on several lists. It's 1776. And the music is by Sherman Edwards. And the opening number is called Sit Down, John, because apparently John Adams was making a best of himself. And the other line that you hear repeated throughout the song, other than Sit Down, John, is won't someone open up a window? Because it must have been very, very hot in Philadelphia in July in 1776, no air conditioning. So here is William Daniels reprising his role from the Broadway production into the movie. It opens with a monologue, and then we hear Sit Down, John.
John is John Adams, correct?
Yes.
I have come to the conclusion that one useless man is called a disgrace, that two are called a law firm, and that three or more become a Congress. And by God, I have had this Congress. For 10 years, King George and his parliament have gull-cullied and diddled these colonies with their illegal taxes, Stamp Acts, Townshend Acts, Sugar Acts, Tea Acts. And when we dared stand up like men, they have stopped our trade, seized our ships, blockaded our ports, burned our towns, and spilled our blood. And still, this Congress refuses to grant any of my proposals on independence, even so much as the courtesy of open debate. Good God, what in hell are you waiting for?
Sit down, John. Sit down, John.
Thomas, for God's sake, listen to me.
Sit down. Sit down.
I had enough of you, sir. Now listen.
Open up a window.
Will you listen to me and forget the window?
Have mercy, now please. It's hot as hell in Philadelphia.
Someone open up a window. I say vote yes, vote yes, vote for independence.
Someone open up a window.
I say vote yes, vote for independence.
Someone open up a window. No, too many flies, too many flies. But it's hot as hell in Philadelphia. Open up a window, every compromise here.
Vote yes.
No, too many flies here.
Vote yes.
Oh, for God's sake, John, sit down.
Good God, consider yourselves fortunate that you have John Adams to abuse, for no sane man would tolerate it.
John, you're a bore. We've heard this before. Now, for God's sake, John, sit down.
I
I say vote yes. Vote yes. Vote for independence. Someone open up a window. I say vote yes. Downtown. Vote for independence.
Will someone shut that man up?
Never! Never!
Our finale of opening numbers, and that sounds like an oxymoron, has another, I think, great title for an opening number. And this is Hello from the Book of Mormon. And this very, very cleverly staged number opened the Tony Awards the year after Book of Mormon won the Tony. And so you don't see the original cast, Andrew Rannells and Josh Gad, but you do see many of the presenters of the Tony Awards that night who are incorporated into this number. And I'm sure you'll recognize them. If not, if you don't recognize them visually, you recognize them by the name on their dressing room door. So here are the Mormons. This is not the entire cast, by the way. This is just the Mormon section of the entire cast of Book of Mormon, but there are quite a few of them. So here they are with Hello.
Hello, my name is Elder Price, and I would like to share with you the most amazing book. Hello, my name is Elder Grant. It's a book about America a long, long time ago. It has so many awesome parts.
You simply won't believe how much this book can change your life.
Hello, my name is Elder Green. I would like to share with you this book of Jesus Christ.
Hello, my name is Elder Young.
Hello, did you know that Jesus lived here in the USA? You can read all about it now.
Hello.
In this nifty book, it's free. No, you don't have to pay.
Hello.
Hello, my name is Elder Smith, and can I leave this book with you for you to just peruse?
Hello. Hello.
Hello.
I'll just leave it here. It has a lot of information you can really use.
Hello.
Hi.
My name is
Jesus Christ.
You have a lovely home.
Hello.
It's an amazing book.
Bonjour.
Hola.
Ni hao.
Me llamo Elder White.
Are these your kids?
This book gives you the secret to eternal life.
Sound good?
Eternal life.
Jesus Christ.
It's super fun.
Hello.
Ding dong. And if you let us in, we'll show you how it can be done.
No thanks.
You sure?
Oh, well.
That's fine.
Goodbye.
Have fun in hell.
Hey now.
You simply won't believe how much this book will change. This book will change your life. This book will change your life.
Hello, would you like to change religions? I have a free book written by Jesus.
No, Elder Cunningham, that's not how we do it. You're making things up again. Just stick to the approved dialogue. Elders, show it.
Hello.
My name is
Elder Cunningham.
We would like to share with you this book of Jesus Christ. Hello.
Hello. Just take this book.
It's free for you. You see, you simply won't believe how much this book will change your life. Will change your life. Change your life, so you won't burn in hell. You're gonna die someday, but if you read this book, you'll see that there's another way. Spend eternity with friends and family. We can fully guarantee that this book will change your life. 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 The Book of Mormon.
And Holly Reed ends her article by saying the opening number is literally the audience's first peek into the world of your show. She's writing this article, by the way, for aspiring lyricists, composers, and librettists to give them some clues as to how to develop their show. She says it's their way into the story. You control the key. What door will you let them in? So there are a couple minutes. I don't know, Judy, if you've gotten any questions on.
Well, I have a question, and then if anybody wants to jump in, I was going to just ask, this was obviously just a wonderful, wonderful lineup. In your own personal opinion, do you think opening numbers are often the best number in the show?
Well, I think they need to fulfill their purpose and draw the audience in. No, I usually or often the 11 o'clock number is the big number of the show. Each one has its place. I think the ones that we saw today are terrific numbers, and two of my favorites, of course, I just mentioned are Magic to Do and Ragtime. But I would be hard pressed to say that they're the
fair enough
often the
Yeah.
best.
Okay, Joanne, go ahead.
Yeah, none of these shows are contemporary except for Book of Mormon. Okay, that's like 2010 or something, right? Everything else is about 30 years old. I think Ragtime might be 2000, but that's it. And that kind of upsets me.
Well, that's my bias. That's my bias, I must admit. I started going to Broadway shows in 1954 when I was 11. And my first show was Mary Martin and Peter Pan. And I am definitely a fan of what they call the Golden Age. I'm also not so knowledgeable, although I have seen Dear Evan Hansen. I've seen many of the recent Broadway shows. But what's interesting, I don't know if only old people vote on these polls, but I looked at several of them, and there were very, very few modern shows that were listed as favorites.
No.
And
That's why I'm
I think
upset.
that, well,
Yeah.
it is kind of sad, but Stephen Sondheim's writing a new show, so
We'll see. We'll see if he finishes it. Oh, that's
there is hope.
terrible. I mean,
But a lot of it, I think, is I'll admit that it's my own personal bias.
One other question to ask you, or maybe it's more an observation, you can comment on it. The range you showed us was just wonderful, and it went from Oklahoma with just two people on stage, only one of them singing, and that was definitely a breakthrough musical that changed from the showgirls.
Right, 1943.
Yeah, and I remember Rita saying, and maybe she's going to come on, that she saw this, to Follies, where you had the entire cast on. That's so obviously it seems to be the composers have some fun with it and feel that they have great flexibility in how they do it. I thought that was quite amazing. Well, let's go to Rita if we can. Rita, I think, as I recall, you've been to these shows yourself.
I
So
think
go
we
ahead.
have to remember that for us old showgoers, what a revelation the opening number of Oklahoma was. This was a whole modern era. The shows were shows like Showboat, these kind of romantic, predictable love stories or whatever. So that to us, these are innovative, or were. And those opening numbers, I think, were remarkable. And I thought you did a wonderful job of putting these together. Absolutely great. And thank you for the research and the love that went into them.
As you see, the technical, we thank David to the technical issues. It's not easy, but they did a great job. Martha, go ahead, please.
Hey, everyone. Thank you, Karen. As usual, you delighted me with your array of what we see and what many of us have seen. One of the great regrets in my life is that I, of course, wasn't born yet, but then I wasn't at the opening night of Oklahoma. What a thrill that must have been, because people didn't know what was going to happen.
I was born, but I was 1 month old, so I was not.
Can you imagine sitting there expecting and then what you got? Oh, it's so beautiful. Thank you. And I never saw the Book of Mormon, but now I want to see it.
Well, it's coming back.
Yeah, I would recommend it. I only went because friends wasn't able to go, so I went with her husband to see it. I wouldn't have gone otherwise, and it's really quite a treat. It really is wonderful. And
Is it-
talking about quite a treat, Karen, we
nice,
thank you
right?
so much for this. We thank David for the support. And Karen, I was talking about now for something completely different. You will be back in a couple of weeks. Can you just briefly tell us about your next class, which we
Sure.
can hum to, but it's not musicals?
No, it's not musicals. I'm going back to my high school teaching English days. And I'll be doing 2 short stories by one of my favorite authors, Kurt Vonnegut. And they'll be available ahead of time on PDF. It's Who Am I This Time and Harrison Bergeron. They're not very long. I think each one is about 10 pages. So you will have them in advance. And I hope you read them in advance because there'll be a test. No, I'm sorry. I did go back to my high school teaching days. But they should be very interesting to discuss. And they'll be in the weekly reminder email.
2 weeks from today, same time slot. So can we all have what I call a sitting ovation? Brava and bravo. Okay, thanks.